The boy with no name. In a quiet village nestled between the hills, there lived a boy who was known by no name, not because he didn't have one, but because no one cared enough to remember it. He was different, quiet, and always alone. While other children laughed and played, he sat under the ancient baobab tree, tracing shapes in the dirt with a stick. Whispers followed him like shadows. That boy is cursed. Stay away, or you'll end up like him. The villagers blamed him for everything. If crops withered, they said his silence brought bad luck. If a goat wandered off, they claimed he had stolen it. The boy never fought back. Instead, he withdrew further into himself, learning to survive in solitude. But what no one knew was that the boy had a gift, one passed down from his grandmother, a healer and seer who had been cast out years before. He could hear whispers in the wind, and the earth seemed to speak to him. He knew when rain would come, when the river would swell, and when danger was near. Yet still, they rejected him. Years passed, and the boy became a man, a quiet, forgotten man. He lived alone in a crumbling hut, unseen by the villagers, until one fateful night. A terrible drought had gripped the land, the crops had turned to dust, and the river had become a cracked skeleton of its former self. The village elders, desperate and terrified, gathered the people to pray, but prayers could not break the sky. Then one night, the man awoke to the wind howling his name. The earth beneath him trembled. He ran to the village, warning them, "You must leave. The earth is crying. A fire will come." But they mocked him. "Why would we listen to you?" One elder spat, "Go back to your shadows." Another sneered. So the man returned home, heart heavy. That night, lightning clawed the sky, and flames devoured the dry fields. The fire roared like an angry beast, swallowing homes and turning everything to ash. Desperate and terrified, the villagers ran, but the man with no name had already prepared. He knew the safest path, a narrow trail that snaked along the river's edge. With nothing but a lantern in hand, he led the villagers through the smoke and flames, guiding them to safety. Not one life was lost. The next morning, the villagers stood before him. The elder who once mocked him stepped forward. "We owe you our lives. What is your name?" The man paused. For years, he had been called nothing. Forgotten, rejected. But now, standing before his people, he smiled softly. "My name is Kamau. It means quiet warrior." And from that day forward, Kamau was no longer alone. The village no longer whispered about him. They listened.
Sunrise on the hill, strumming fills the air. Hearts beating wild, life without a care. Dance to the rhythm, feet on sacred ground. Energy, electric, spirit.